Marami sa mga tenured freelancer ang nakakakuha ng gigs pero paisa-isa lang. One-time gig here, one-time gig there. And then unfortunately, marami sa mga freelancers is they're stuck in the hamster wheel of just getting one-time gigs, not knowing how to turn those into potential long-term clients. This also then results into maraming pag-aalala na hindi regular yung kita. Na parang pag may client lang, may sweldo. Pero pag walang client, baka asin lang yung ulam. So ano ba ang dapat mong gawin? May mga top freelancers that are able to transform one-time gigs into long-term retainer contracts para mas stable yung income. And keep watching till the end of this video. Ituturo ko sa iyo kung paano ma-transform yung mga single gigs into long-term paying clients. So kung ready ka na, grab your pen and paper and let's get started. Okay, so guys, here's the reality, unfortunate reality. Most freelancers struggle with the unpredictability of one-time projects. I've been there before. In the earlier days of my freelancing, it is one project after another that may or may not even be the same. So what ends up happening is you're doing multiple things, wearing different hats for different people, leaving you spread thin and then only relying on this one-time gig that could potentially sustain you. What happens? This leaves you anxious, this leaves you feeling unstable, and then it doesn't give you the peace of mind that freelancing is something that may be a long-term thing for you. But the truth is, this happens because of a few factors that can be addressed and can be fixed. These factors include, number one is the lack of strategic planning in order to extend project scopes, not proposing additional value to encourage ongoing work. And the last one is difficulty in positioning yourself as an indispensable asset. But with the right approach, you can convert these one-time projects into consistent retainer agreements, and let's dive into how. Okay, so here's the strategy. First, you want to identify. Next, you want to propose. And then finally, you want to demonstrate value. Let's break it down. So first one is identify. This is when you want to pinpoint an ongoing need, keyword ongoing, or potential areas of improvement within the client's business. So once you're hired for the first gig, you now have visuals of what else needs to be done. And most likely, there's going to be more problems caused by either what you're trying to achieve now or what you're currently doing with your task. So start to be aware and identify what else happens next after my task is done, and then how else can that be improved. And then I assess if it's an ongoing need. If not, look for other areas that might also need improvement. Second one is propose. After you've identified the needs, ongoing needs, potential additional needs, you want to craft a compelling proposal that addresses each and every item, showcasing options on how to address them and maybe including a time frame of what to expect when those actions are also taken. And finally, demonstrate value. Show evidence of your impact, right? So the results, the KPIs you've been measuring or you've completed from your current project, and show how that can lead into the next part of the project. This then reinforces why you are the ideal partner for the job, turning a one-time gig into a potential for an ongoing engagement with the client moving forward. Now, this approach works because of a few reasons. Number one is it aligns your services with the client's goals long term. So not just one and done, but next thing and the next thing, and you rinse and repeat that aligned towards achieving the main goal. Second one is it reinforces your role as an essential component for their success. So if you're tied into the process already, improving and making it better, tied into achieving the result. And finally, it converts uncertainty into a steady income stream. So the more you're able to do this successfully and do it better with clients, the more you complete your one-time gigs and then do this, get brought on board with a client, you're able to eliminate or not even think of having uncertainty. Now you're focused on looking forward to what's going to happen next with the client, and then touching base with them, and then lining up that one-time contract turning into a long-term retainer if you position it the right way. And by following these strategies, you will be able to pave your way for securing long-term retainer clients under your control and achieving more financial stability. Now let's take it to the real world. Let's say you recently completed a project and you're ending the terms with the client. So when a client says to you, "Thanks for completing the project," a bad freelancer might respond and say something like, "You're welcome, client. It sounds good. Let me know if you need anything else." Don't do that. Stop doing that. What you can do instead is, when the client says, "Thanks for completing the project," you can say something like, "Of course, Mr. Client, it's been a pleasure working with you as well. Thank you for the opportunity. And also, I've identified a few," insert other things that you've identified, "that we can address to improve the performance of," insert the campaign, "and I'd love to put together a proposal breaking down what we need and what you can expect in case you decide to move forward with these improvements. I want to make sure that you succeed with this initiative, and I can provide my full support in order to help you do that." And by doing it that way, the client might think, "Oh wow, I didn't even think about that. It should be something that we should be testing or trying or improving." So instead of just ending the contract and then not engaging with you further, you now have an opportunity of getting in front of the client one more time, presenting your proposal, which could be for another 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 1 year, however long you can position that proposal to solve their problem. You can then present that to the client and have a chance to turn that one-time gig into a long-term retainer contract. All right, so here's my challenge for you. Identify one project that you've completed where you can implement the identify, propose, and demonstrate value approach. And either you're ending it with a client or you're reaching out to an old client you might have finished the engagement with. Try to reach out and ask them if it's something they want to discuss with you, and decide if they want to re-engage back with you to discuss the proposal and potentially get hired for a long-term retainer contract. Drop your results in the comments below. If you have questions, let us know. I read all of them, and I'll try to get back to everybody. We'll see how else we can get you these long-term gigs and help you build a freelance long-term career. Okay, so before you go ahead and do that, I got a question for you. Ever had a client who was wanting to just cut your rate in half, pay you less, right? Maybe they don't see your value anymore. They just want to give you a pay cut. Truth is, it happens. And if you're interested in knowing how to deal with that in order to showcase your value, avoid the pay cuts, and not get a pay decrease, you might want to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and also turn on the notification bell, because in the next video, I'm going to share what you should say when the client tries to cut costs. All right. So thanks again for hanging out, for checking out this video. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.